Hey, uh, bonjour y'all. Welcome back to my channel. Just wanted to get a quick intro for this. I forgot to film it while I was outside, but and I'll also have an outro at the end that will give a little bit more information about some of the bus. But today, in this video, we're going to be covering how to use the local bus system here in Perpignan. It's likely going to be the same for other cities in France. I know I've been to Narbonne, and it was a very similar process. But other larger cities may have, or will most likely have, other options for public transport, like trams or a metro or things of that sort, like certainly like Paris and Bordeaux and all that. But we don't have that here in Perpignan, so we really just have the bus system. So that's all I'm covering. That's all I'm covering in this video about how to use that, and hopefully you find it informational and. Hope everybody's doing well. Thanks so much. Now the way this works is that you can see here, if you don't have a pass, that's perfectly fine. In the buses here in Perpignan, you can get in and you can wave your debit card or credit card in front of the validator, and so it looks like this. And you just take your card, wave it usually toward the bottom of it. Similar to, you'll see people with their passes, they do the same thing with the passes. So in any case, if you don't want to do that, you can also just pay cash. Cash price is €1.50, €1.50. If you use your card, it's €1.30, although I don't think you get a ticket with that. So if you're planning on being gone for a little while, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, if you get the ticket, it's good for about an hour, so you can get back on another bus. And they'll work on any of the Sankéo buses that are, here in Perpignan. So doesn't matter which line you get on, just take your ticket, or they're the same way. We just go ahead and wave your card in front of it, type thing. So they'll typically have a map of the area that shows all the different bus routes that are here, and then timetables. And with timetables, like here, it'll also show you the places it's going to be going to, the stops it's going to be going to, and the stops that it came from. So you want to make sure you're obviously looking at the right direction, but these are the timetables here that they'll be estimated to show up. The top one will show, like on here, it says it's Monday to Friday when school's in session, but not during holidays. This is Monday through Friday when schools are on vacation. Again, not during holidays. This is Saturday. Samedi is Saturday, not during holidays. And this is Sunday, the schedule, and this is also for holidays. So whenever the holiday is, this is what the schedule you're going to look at for when the bus comes in. Another thing that I wanted to kind of interject here is that on the schedules you'll see there's also a timeline, like it's the 20th of September through the 4th or 5th of July, type thing, that is what the schedule is good for. And they'll go and change it again on the 5th of July to a different schedule. So over the summer there'll be a different bus schedule for the system. But what I'm showing in this video is going to be the current bus schedule that it is. It's for 8 or 9 months. But the one thing that is an oddity with it is the reference that you have to look at for when schools are in session and when schools are out. And that's because the buses here are essentially also the school buses in the concept in the U.S. So, the buses are can be, I shouldn't say they always are, and but they can be crowded during the week with students. And so, just kind of keep that in mind. And it seems like it's pretty much all day. It's not, I just remember when I went to school, it was like the school bus picked you up, dark early, and you got home, later in the afternoon, sort of thing. But here, it can be any time in the morning and early afternoon, and certainly by like 5 or 5:30, they're just jammed with kids. So and on some of the lines that feed like the high schools and the middle schools and things like that. So just be aware that you're going to see a lot of kids, and it's because the school buses are the buses here are also used as school buses for the kids. So it's great to see. They each have to have their own pass and all that sort of thing, but it's just much different than what it was in the United States. So just wanted to point that out. That's why on the schedules it will show when schools are in session, when schools are out of on vacation. And the way they work here in France is that schools are in session for like 6 weeks, and then there's a 2-week break. And so depending on when you're here, if you're just visiting, you may see periods of time where the buses are not very crowded, and that's generally going to be when the kids are on vacation. And there could be times when the buses are very crowded, and that's obviously when the kids are back in school. So, there's a lot of adults that use the public transport in that as well. But just as an anomaly to point out for those in the U.S., that the buses do serve as school buses here too. So, just an FYI. Again, you want to keep track of where the yellow zigzag lines are. That'll be a good indicator as where the bus is going to be stopping. And then, so here comes a bus, and you'll see that this one is marked as a one bus going to Le Soleil, and so you'll know which direction it's heading by looking at the map, and we'll just go from there. By the way, you can press this button when you're coming up to your stop, right before you, well, not right before you get to your stop, but when you are approaching the stop, you want to go ahead and press that so it alerts the driver to make sure to stop at this location. Okay, so just to show you where the main office is for Sankéo here in Perpignan, that area over there is Place Arago, and there is a bus stop. There's a few bus lines that stop there. The B and the 1 I definitely know. I don't know if any other ones stop there. But if you come down here, there's the canal. There's the main Sankéo office. And so you just go in there. They'll give you an option of buying a ticket. Either it's monthly, yearly, you can do it weekly. I think there might be like a number of times. So you might be able to do 5 times, 10 times, things like that. That sort of thing for the passes. So in any case, that's where you go to get the main passes. And if you go down here, this is what I was talking about in the previous video. This is where the prefecture is here. Really just a beautiful building. And then down this way, just kind of pan this way, you go down and there's the Castellet and unfortunately the KFC. right here, and then Cassiette, the bus stop, is just right on the other side of this bridge. And so that's a major one for most of the bus lines here. But you can see that this is the side with the cafes. Just a beautiful day out here. The hall, just great options in there for boulangerie. There's a bread maker, well, boulangerie, I suppose. You can get markets. There's stuff in there. There's an Italian restaurant, a bar. They have a beer garden in the back. Lots of options there to eat and drink. And then this direction here. The other thing too they're doing is they've got these cool art installations now where they put up these canvases around the city, and the artists go in there and they paint those. So in any case, just showing the other side, there's where the Sankéo is, and let's go from there. So now I'm inside the Sankéo office here in Perpignan. They have a set of brochures here for the Leo lines, which are the ones that go out to the various villages outside of the city. And this will just kind of, I'm trying to grab it with one hand, but this will show you which villages it goes to, the stops in the villages, and the rough time frame that they hit. So if you want to go out to the outside villages, that's where you go look for those. They also have this set up at the train station. So if you're at the train station, you can also pick up these types of brochures. So here's the B line. This is one of the ones I take most frequently. I'm trying to grab this with one hand. But it shows you all the stops that the B line goes through. And, so you can kind of decide where you're going with that. And then, of course, the schedules, the estimated schedules they have. So it's a much more comprehensive look at the schedules, but nonetheless, it shows you all of the lines that are available. And this is also the office. You come in and pick up the passes, get things recharged if you're using a card. They don't speak much English in here, but they're very, very nice, and they can certainly help out. And then over here is a map. And just kind of bring the camera back up. There we go. Shows you the map of the routes in the city to give you a bit of an idea. And then they have a blowout of the city centers so that a lot of the bus lines go through city centers. So they blow that out so you can see the individual stops. But that is the Sankéo office. All right. So now I'm out by the Gare TGV stop right in front of the train station here in Perpignan. And this is the Gare TGV side of it. You'll actually enter both sides, or both for either regional trains or for the TGV. You'll enter on this side. But I just wanted to show you this bus stop and just kind of walk around. And here you'll see the different bus lines that are serviced by Gare TGV. And this is the one direction, and then the other side of the street there is the other direction for it. Now, again, as a reminder, not every bus stop has another bus stop for the other direction on the other side of the street, even if it's a two-way street. So you do need to pay attention to that. There are several bus stops in Perpignan that are on one-way streets, and of course that's not going to have a corresponding return bus on the other side. So there are some bus stops like Riquet, Cabri, even Gare SNCF, which is the other side of this building, that only go the one direction. So what you'll have to do is just Google Map it, or Google Maps will help out with that. But if you have the Sankéo app, that's where it comes in handy, that you can just go onto that and say, type in the address you want to go to, or if you're looking for a particular stop, and it'll show you kind of the walking directions to get to it. So this, I'm going to show you the walk from the train station down to Conflent, which is another stop. And the reason I'm doing this walk is that this will show a couple of other places down here, like there's coming up on the left-hand side, you'll see Lidl, which is close by. And, but coming down this way is not an uncommon way for people to come through when they come off the train or the bus to get to the Conflent stop, which is the one stop. Now you can take once you get comfortable with this, now you'll see what I'm saying. 6 SIXT car rentals across the street over there as well. But you can take a bus, like the B bus and the C bus will stop at Gare TGV, and then will also stop at Conflent down here. So you can just take the bus from there if you've got a couple of bags, things like that coming off the bus or coming off the trains. But you can also just roll them down this way to come down if you need to take like a one bus. It's because the one bus doesn't go past the Gare TGV. So that's why I'm just kind of walking you down here just to kind of show you what it looks like. If you want to grab something from Lidl, it's across the street right there. And then as we work our way down to the next corner, off to the left-hand side, which I'm going to show you, there's also a co-op, which is what's the word I'm looking for? An organic type place, but it's also a co-op for local growers and things like that. So you can go in there and pick out vegetables and fruits and things of that sort. So, so anyway, just kind of walking down through here. We're coming up to another bus stop, which is Robin, and this used to be well overhung with things. You can see the Robin sign on the other side there for the other direction. Well, I can get my hand out of the way. And we're going to see my fingers a few times here, I suspect. But in any case, that's the Robin side heading toward Gare TGV. This is the side heading away from Gare TGV. And I was just pointing out that, of course, you didn't see these before, but the shrubs that are up above us, above on top of that wall, used to hang over practically the entire sidewalk, which was great shade, but for someone that's 6'4", it had to duck the entire time walking along there. So now they've got those trimmed back so I can actually just kind of walk along. You can see the bus going along the other side there. But and I think this building on the left-hand side must have had some sort of fire a number of years ago that burned it out. They just haven't demolished it. But just a quiet walk along here. Nothing super exciting, but I did at least want to take you along just to show you what it looked like. And as we approach the light, we're going to be going to the right, but I will show you to the left. There we go. Well, kind of hard to see. I think I'll try to pan in a little bit here, but I don't know if it's going to really show it very well. But in that corner of the building there that has the graffiti on the side, that is a Conflent heading toward Le Soleil, heading another direction. But this also kind of shows you that they're not going to necessarily be right next to each other either. So Conflent, the direction that I want to go in, is over here. And here we are at Conflent.
Correspondance avec la ligne A, C, D, 1, 2, 3 express. 4, 5, 5 express. 10, 11, 15, 21, 22, 23 et 26. Arrêt, Catalogne pour le show. Prochain arrêt, Narbonne. C'est le seul que je correspondance avec la ligne 1, 4 et 7. Ouais, non, c'est tout.
Okay, so what I want to do here is just capture how to maybe, you know, address the when you get to a bus stop that has a significant bus stop that has a enclosure like this, where it's the walls around the sides and the posters inside here with the actual diagram of what's around the city. So as you can see, this is the bus map for the local buses here in Perpignan, and it's very extensive. You know, goes in all directions, goes out. Some of them go out to some of the surrounding villages, Canojes, Palestras, Celles, Cabestany. Here's Canet out by the Mediterranean. There's a line that goes out there, the 3 bus, and then also goes up to Rivesalt. Saint Esteve is another popular area type thing. So the buses go out to some of the local villages, but not all of them, obviously. So in any case, but there are regional buses that can take you to most other villages around the area. But this video is just for dealing with the local bus system. So as you can see, you know, different locations, stops, things like that along the map. This here is a little guide to show you that what the different lines are and where they begin and end, sort of thing. And these are destination sites, where termination sites. So what happens is when they get to the point, like if it gets to Parc des Sports or Diderot, the bus will stop, and you'll be expected to get off the bus. And it's usually about a 10 to 15 minute wait. You just go to the other, you know, wherever the other bus going the other direction stop is, and just wait for them to restart the bus and get back on it. But you'll see here for the legend, A, B, C, and D are the major lines here in Perpignan. So A is every 10 minutes on average. The B lines are every 15 minutes on average. C and D are every 20 minutes on average. The other ones will just be more, you know, maybe 20 minutes, could be a little bit longer in between. But if you come down here, this is where the schedule is, and it will show you for the individual bus lines. This one is only served by line 1, and you'll see where it starts. So it either starts at Saint-Pierre or Fila, and then it goes down to Saint-Philippe or Le Soleil. And so it'll show you the different stops that are coming in, you know, from that point and where you start. These are the timelines that go along with it. So this one here is Monday through Friday, when the schools are in session, except for holidays. This is Monday through Friday when schools are when they're on vacation, except for holidays. This is Saturday, except for holidays, and this is Sunday and holidays. So if the holiday whatever day the holiday falls on, this is the schedule the bus will take. Down here, there we go. So in any case, just want to pay attention to that. The other thing too is you'll see that these are, it picks up on the camera here, but they're color coded. So some of them will be blue, some will be purple, some will be green. And down here, it'll tell you where that terminus is based on the color of the bus, the color of the timeline on the thing. So the different buses here, especially during the week, go to different destinations. They're the same direction, just different destinations over here. So that's what you have to pay attention to. And if you want to know, you know, where the, you know, if you don't have the Sankéo app and you want to know where the bus is or how long it's going to take to get to where you are, there's usually, let's see if I can find it here, there's usually a QR code. And you scan that, and that'll tell you where the bus is and how long it's going to be before it gets to your current location. And you know, again, thanks so much for watching the video. You know, hopefully you found it helpful, especially, you know, getting kind of used to using the buses here. It really is not a complex system. It's just that, it is intimidating because there's a lot of options, and you can easily get onto the wrong bus. The bus drivers typically don't speak English, so it's if you don't speak much French, it can be intimidating to use it. So, but I just want to try to show that it really isn't that bad to use. It's pretty simple. You can get around pretty easily. A lot of bus stops, things of that sort. The one thing that can happen is if, and Google Maps will be a big help as well in helping you find where you need to go and all that. Google Maps may not be able to give you any like updates on current bus schedules and things of that sort, but at least it gets you to the right place, and they may have updated times on them. But one thing to keep in mind is if something happens, and it's usually one of the biggest fears people have, is that something happens on the bus. So, because things will happen. I mean, it can have, it can break down. It can, so like I've had where the buses, like the doors in the back don't close again. So they obviously can't drive off, with open doors in the back. So what typically happens is another bus will show up. So like the next bus that comes through will show up, and people will, disembark and re-embark on the other bus. In the instance where it's not a very frequent travel bus route, they may decide to send out another bus to come pick you up. So, but they can also just be, I did have an incident where a bus driver was driving along the street, somebody wasn't paying attention in front of him and came out of a parking lot and just kind of hit the side of the bus lightly. It wasn't like it just smashed into it, but got hit. So he had to stop the bus, and everybody had to get off the bus. And at that point, I knew where I was, so I could get on another, I knew where some other bus stops were. But at that point, you're just kind of, a little bit of SOL. It's like, well, just kind of figure out what you're going to do and where you're going to go. So just be aware that, 95, 98% of the time, the buses work perfectly fine. There's no issue that you have to deal with. But in the event that there is something that happens that's out of their control, obviously, you may have to rely on Google Maps or something like that to help get you to another bus stop or to your destination, or whatever that could possibly happen. So it's not a common occurrence, but it can happen. And I just want to make sure that people, and I know that's a big fear that folks have with using the system, is that it's like, what happens because I don't speak much French, I don't know the area, I don't know what I don't know where other bus stops are. And what happens if something does happen, with it. And so, but generally speaking, that's all that can potentially happen with it. I mean, it's not common that the buses break down, but I certainly have had it happen with my trips. So, just want to let you all know that that's something you'll have to keep in mind, and don't panic about it. Just you just have to kind of go with the flow and just figure out what your kind of next step is. But generally speaking, they'll have another bus that comes along. So it may be 20 minutes or half an hour, but c'est la vie. That's the way it goes. So anyway, just wanted to give that to you. Thanks so much for watching the video. Hopefully, like I said, it was helpful. Please, any comments that you have, I'm happy to respond as quickly as I can with them. And we'll just try to get some other videos like this out, showing you, what it's like to actually live here. So, but anyway, hope everyone's doing well, and look forward to seeing you all, well, I guess not definitely seeing you, but, in the next video. Thanks so much. Au revoir.